How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Boylai Hobby Time. This week I'm building something inspired by this model I found at the store the other day, the Southern Belle. According to the box, it is the Hero of the Mississippi. I'd never built anything from this brand before, but upon looking into the box, I saw something that looked like a little surprise at the bottom. Didn't look like the instructions. I was hoping maybe it was some ramen seasoning or a treasure map, but after I took it out and opened it up, it just ended up being a bunch of postage stamp pictures on some wrapping paper, which was kind of a surprise, but a boring one. It came with 2 boats. I'll probably save the tugboat for later. I did find the instructions in the box as well. Seemed pretty straightforward, so I began building it. The box said that this was going to be really fun to build, and I believed them. With the number of pieces and the simplicity, I thought it was going to just be a breeze, and I would actually be pretty relaxed while doing this. But after a little bit, I realized the pieces weren't sticking together, even after I washed them with soap and water. Half of them were misshapen, or they had excess that I had to trim off. I tried a few different glues, and all of them were having a tough time. I cut out most of the frustrating parts because it was just me pinching pieces together that wouldn't stick together, sliding around, getting super glue on my fingers. My fingers would stick to everything, and the pieces would stick to nothing. The most frustrating part was probably the paddle, though. The little wheels have the grooves in them that were supposed to hold the paddles, but none of them were the right size, nor were they the right shape. So I had to go back and carve out a bunch of the plastic to make them fit, and it was just very frustrating. I did finally get it together though, which was nice, but it was definitely not that fun to build. But once it was done, I was able to prime it and get it ready for painting. I then glued it to a wargaming base so that I could stick it in my little painting handle, and I started painting it. I didn't know how I wanted this boat to be painted, so I Googled popular Steamboat colorways and didn't find any results. So I just wung it and made it look like it was not the nicest steamboat. You know, something that would not be afraid to go up those little side rivers and those little channels where gigantic alligators would live. Once I had all of the base colors down, I added some little details and weathering. Then I glued on some little strings to act as the support ropes for the smokestacks. After that, I built a mold out of some thin acrylic sheets. I put those together with some hot glue to make sure that there was a nice seal. Then I moved on to making the alligator. I sculpted the alligator in Forger for the iPad. I started by making this alligator kind of shape, and then refining it to make it look more lifelike. I borrowed this photo from Wikipedia of an alligator, And I learned that alligators, when their mouth is closed, only their top teeth are visible, whereas a crocodile would have teeth protruding from the top and the bottom. That's just one of the ways that an alligator and a crocodile are different. After I was done modeling that, I printed it out and I had a nice little chunky alligator. I was a little afraid that if I painted the alligator green, it would get lost in the murky green water. So I decided to give it an albino paint job instead. I think that the legendary alligator that you can hunt in Red Dead Redemption 2 is also albino. So we can just say that these two are related. This one is far bigger than that one, but still. Yeah, maybe they're cousins. Then it was time to move on to the resin. I have not had really good luck with resin in the past. And by that I mean I have been impatient and ruined multiple projects. But this time I took a little bit more time with it. I did mix in some paints, which previously had worked, but this time they kind of created little specks in the resin. I was able to get most of those out though, so it was okay. I didn't like the way the first color looked, so I mixed up a second batch of something lighter, mixed it all together. And when that was dry, I was actually really happy with how it turned out. As you can see, all that hot glue, it was beginning to leak, so I added tons more. Probably too much, but rather be safe than sorry. And after 72 hours, it was fully cured, and I took it out of the mold. After all of the plastic was off, I used a nice sharp knife to clean up the edges. Then I applied some gloss Mod Podge and sprayed it around with the airbrush to create a ripple water-like texture. The last thing to do was to put the boat in place, create some ripples and wake coming away from the paddle. Once that was done, I set it in the base and called it good. That is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons. You guys are the best. Have a great week, everyone. I'll see you next time.